Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Ethnie. I post videos about architecture and design. So today I want to go over the portfolio I produced for my 2 years at the Yale School of Architecture. Please keep in mind that one of the years was the COVID special situation during the pandemic and we had limited studio access and classes were on Zoom. So in this video, I want to go over the projects I made as well as providing a self-reflection and saying what I would have done better if I were to redo them. Let's go. Starting from the title page, I kept it simple and it's the same as my undergraduate portfolio title page because I was lazy and I wanted the layout consistency across my portfolios. If you haven't seen my old portfolio, here's a link to that video on the top right corner, and stay till the end to hear about my portfolio tips. So here I have my name, title, and literally nothing else. Moving to my first project, I didn't have a content page for this portfolio because it's technically a work sample, not a finished portfolio. At the end of each school year at the Yale School of Architecture, students are required to put together a work sample of all the projects they've produced during their time at school. So we literally had 2 days after our studio final review to make this portfolio, which is why I kept the layout clean and simple. My first project is from an urban studio. It's a team project. I worked with my classmates, Caitlin and Sosa, and we spent a semester studying urban fabrics of Brooklyn, New York. In the end, we developed the scheme of a parade production workshop for the local communities to freely utilize to create all sorts of parade floats or parade equipments. The concept is to provide opportunities for the different communities in Brooklyn to celebrate culture, festivals, and individualities. For a city as diverse as New York, we felt like it is important to acknowledge, respect, and celebrate differences. We used GIS mapping and site interviews as mediums of research in the early stages and translated them into programmed spaces inside this cubic building. And here I have mappings, axon plans, perspective sections, and renders for this building. We actually each designed a float too. That was super fun with plans and sections and all that. And I showed one of them in the title page. I didn't include everything here because I wanted this portfolio to predominantly showcase the architectural design aspect of this project. And thinking back, I wish we had more time to make a physical model that shows the different types of programs and how they intersect and interact in this building around the central atrium. But we didn't have time to do that, and that's okay. I did make a huge physical model for this second project. So this is an architecture studio and it's an individual project. Model and physical space making was the emphasis for this semester. Also started from site analysis and mappings. This is a clinical center for young patients with schizophrenia in New Haven. The project is called The Disappearing Landscape. I was hoping that by creating 2 intersecting blankets of landscape, the public and the patients would have opportunities to meet when desired, but also have enough privacy for clinical spaces. The overall design is dynamic and full of porosity. If you're interested, I have another video for my final review for this project. Third project is a research studio, and this is a semester when I struggled the most and was even thinking about quitting school. But this is another story. I hope the struggle was not visible in this project, but it kind of shows looking at how gloomy it is. Basically, in the studio, I designed a urban farming school concept in response to the food insecurity issue in certain areas in Connecticut during the pandemic. Looking back, I think since this was my first attempt at doing a research-based project, I honestly didn't really know how to do it. I tend to want to design a building each time and didn't give enough thought to the actual social issue that I was trying to tackle. Or maybe deep down, I didn't believe that social issues could be solved through architecture, or at least not through architecture alone. And this is something I've been thinking and struggling for a long time too. Let me know what you guys think. And quickly going through this project, I designed indoor, outdoor, and farming classrooms on this big plot of land across an existing canal. I made all the standard plans and sections and models along to support this concept. Fourth project, I would call it a form exploration studio. This is the first semester at Yale, and it's less problem-solving focused, but more explorative. We were asked to use one pattern, and by reconfiguring one simple pattern, create variety in spaces. So as you can see, I had this curvy, almost squiggly pattern and made many curvy and squiggly spaces. So the curves and squiggles are modified depending on the programs. It's a child care center, by the way. I like making things fun for children. Okay, so those were the 4 core studios I did at Yale. All Master of Architecture professional students have to complete those 4 core studios. Not necessarily the same briefs, but similar premises. And this is a small extra competition that I included. It's not the only competition I did during the past 2 years, and this one actually didn't win, but I like the narrative and the aesthetic of this project. Essentially, it's a building module design responding to flooding issues in certain regions in Bangladesh. I made it with my friend from undergrad, Catherine and Harry, and we proposed a vernacular adaptive strategy. Lastly, I included the Yale Building Project at the very end. I have a video dedicated to this also, and for those who don't know, each year at Yale, we form teams to design a house for the local homeless community, and in the end, a winner team would be chosen and the students would build the house together, which is why I have a construction photo on the first page. Okay, so this is the last page. This concludes the portfolio, 6 projects in 20 spreads. Looking back, I would give this portfolio like a 6 out of 10 maybe, because a number of them are group projects. I don't think I have a very strong consistency in the aesthetics, and also many projects were kind of rushed at the end. I either didn't have enough time to make a physical model or didn't have enough time to make renders. I don't know, I feel like some of the earlier projects have potential, but I just didn't push them enough. And if you have any suggestions on how I could improve them, please let me know and I'll be very grateful. I think constant refinement is important in the process of making a good portfolio because no one can get it right the very first time unless you're super gifted, which I am not. I remember for my undergrad portfolio, I literally spent 6 months tuning it, improving it every day. I remember just looking at it, coming home from work every day and trying to spot places where I could change to make it better. And I will list all the softwares I used down in the description box since people always ask that question. Thank you so much for watching this. So that was my portfolio and I still have 1 more year, so this is not the complete version of my portfolio at grad school. And please let me know if you have any comments, things I could improve, and like and subscribe. Bye!